Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are group 5 and we want to explain about semantic rules based on Charles W. Kreidler. Our member, Mukrim Al-Ghazali, Nur Saadah, and me Sinta Rahmawati. And we move to definition about valency. Valency is the number of arguments that accompany a particular predicate. The types of valency: valency 0, valency 1, and valency 2. Valency 0 is the valency that has no any argument. For example, whether verb, it's raining, it's late, it has been thundering. Whether adjective, it's windy, it's rainy. But has a subject, but has no argument. And it not considered as an argument.
So the next explanation is about valency 1. Before we go to the next explanation, let me introduce the semantic rules based on Charles W. Kreidler. So in here, there are 8 semantic rules. For the first, actor. The rule of an argument that performs some action without affecting any other entity. For example, Sylvia left. In here, Sylvia as an actor. The next is affected. The rule of an argument that undergoes a change due to some event or is affected by some other entity. For example, a window broke, Tom broke a window. In here, a window called as an affected. And the next, Betty likes opera, opera delights Betty. In here, Betty, the underlined word is wrong. The right underline is Betty. Betty is called as an affected. And the next is affecting. The role of an argument that affects another entity without any action. For example, Betty likes opera. Opera delights Betty. In here, opera called as an affecting. The next is agent. The role of an argument that by its action affects some other entity. For example, Tom broke a window. In here, Tom called as an agent. And the next is associated. The role of an argument that tells the status or identity of another argument. Roger is a student. In here, a student called as an associated because a student tells the status or identity about Roger. The next is effect. The role of an argument that comes into existence through the action of the predicate. For example, Tilly baked a pie. In here, a pie called as an effect. The next is place. The role of an argument that names the location in which the action of the predicate occurs. For example, the fireman climbed a ladder. In here, the location is a ladder, or we can call a ladder as a place. And the last is theme. The role of an argument that is the topic of predicate that doesn't express action. For example, Audrey is a computer expert. In here, Audrey is called as theme. So we move to the valency 1 or one argument. For the first, one argument, verbs. They have subject and predicates, verb, but no object. For example, number 1, my brother snores. Larry laughed. The dog is sleeping. The role of the underlined arguments, my brother, Larry, the dog, names an actor that carries out the action, which is snores, laughed, and sleeping. Another examples of one argument verbs, such as grandfather died, a volcano erupted, the cake fell. grandfather, a volcano, and the cake did something, the respective predicates tell what they did. Thus, that arguments change the condition of the entity named by affected. The predicate died, erupted, fell tell of an event. The next is one-argument adjectives. They have subject and predicates, adjective phrase. In this group, the predicates are describe the subject. For example, the soup is cold. Terry is impatient. Henrietta was rather reckless. The bottle is empty. The subjects such as soup, Terry, Henrietta, and bottle named theme because the arguments or subjects do not express action, and the predicates called description. Another examples of one argument adjectives. This man is carpenter. Cora and Willis are the class leaders. Dextrose and fructose are sugar. The arguments are theme. And the carpenter, class leader, sugars provides an identity. So the next explanation will be explaining by my next partner, Mukrim.
The next type of valency is valency 2. Valency 2 contains two arguments because the predicates need a subject and an object. For example, Chris is making an omelette. In the sentence, Chris is the subject, make is the predicate, and omelette is the object. In this context, we cannot say by saying Chris is making, or we say without subject Chris, because it is grammatically incorrect. So, a statement with verb make must contain a mention of who makes and what is made. Likewise with verb need and use. The next is structures. The first structure, agent, action, and affected. For example, the cat killed a rat. The cat is the agent, and killed is an action, and rat is something that is affected by action killed that is performed by agent cat. The next example, I broke the window. So in this sentence, I is the agent, broke is the action, and the window is something that is affected by action broke that is performed by agent I. The next structure is agent, action, effect. For example, the cat dug a hole. In this sentence, the cat is the agent, dug is the action, and hole is the effect of action dug that is performed by agent cat. The next example is Picasso created a masterpiece. Picasso is the agent and created is the action, and masterpiece is the result of what Picasso is doing. The difference between two structures is the existence and the conditions. In the first structure, a rat is exists before the action killed. In the second structure, a masterpiece is exists because Picasso created it. The whole and masterpiece are the result or effect of the action. They come into existence because of the action. The second structure is actor, action, and place. The action involves movement with respect to a place. For example, Jenny crossed the street. In this context, Jenny didn't change anything. Instead, she moved from one side of the street to another side of the street. The next sentence is Fiona entered the bedroom. In this context, Fiona came from another room and then she entered the bedroom. The next structure is affected. This structure tells how one entity affects or fails to affect another entity. For example, the decision surprised us all. The affected us all is surprised because of the decision. The next example, you are disturbing everybody. In this context, everybody are disturbed because of you. The next structure is affected, affect, and affecting, or in reverse version of the structure before. For example, I'm afraid of that dog. In this sentence, the dog makes the subject I to feel afraid. The next sentence, he is happy with the test scores. In this context, the test scores makes the subject he to feel happy. I think that's all from fifth group. Thanks for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.